Incident response is where speed matters, but speed without structure can create mistakes. An alert comes in, a user is involved, an endpoint is involved, there are logs, identity events, DR notes, asset details, network clues, and maybe threat intelligence context. The responder has to answer a few questions quickly. What happened? How bad is it? What evidence supports that? Who owns the system? And what should we do next? So in this video, we are going to build a simple AI incident response agent, not an autonomous remediation bot, not a replacement for a responder. A defensive assistant that turns scattered alert context into a structured triage brief for human review. Here's the workflow. We start with a synthetic security alert, then we load related context, asset information, identity activity, endpoint observations, and recent threat intelligence notes. The agent connects those pieces together. It identifies the affected user, the affected asset, the likely incident category, the severity recommendation, and the evidence behind that recommendation. Then it produces an incident triage brief. The goal is not to make the final decision automatically. The goal is to give the human responder a clean starting point. Incident response can get messy fast. A single alert may point to multiple systems. A suspicious login may be harmless travel, or it may be credential theft. An endpoint detection may be a real compromise, or it may be a noisy rule. The agent helps by forcing a structure. Alert details, related entities, supporting evidence, confidence level, recommended next step, human approval gate. That structure makes the response easier to review and harder to miss. For the local demo, we use synthetic inputs. First, a security alert file. Second, an asset inventory file. Third, identity activity. Fourth, endpoint observations. In a real environment, these could come from SIEM, EDR platform, identity provider, ticketing system, cloud logs, or vulnerability management platform. For this walkthrough, everything stays local and safe. Now the agent triages the alert. It checks whether the asset is critical. It checks whether the user has privileged access. It looks for supporting events like impossible travel, suspicious process activity, or repeated authentication failures. It checks whether the alert connects to known threat intelligence context. Then it assigns a severity recommendation. The important part is that the agent explains why. A severity score without reasoning is just another number. The evidence summary is where the workflow becomes useful. Instead of dumping raw logs into a ticket, the agent creates a short explanation. For example, this alert involves a privileged user, an internet-facing asset, and endpoint activity that matches suspicious script execution. Recommend high priority review and temporary containment approval. That gives the responder a faster path into the case. The human can still inspect the original evidence before taking action. The agent can suggest containment options, but it should not automatically execute them at the beginning. Possible recommendations might include disabling a user session, isolating an endpoint, blocking an indicator, opening an incident ticket, or escalating to the on-call responder. The right pattern is suggest, explain, preserve evidence, and wait for approval. That keeps the workflow useful without making it reckless. The final output is an incident triage brief. It includes the alert title, severity recommendation, affected entities, evidence summary, confidence level, recommended next steps, and review checklist. The brief should answer one question quickly. What does the responder need to know right now? That is the value of the agent. It compresses noise into a reviewable decision point. There are important guardrails. Preserve the original evidence. Do not hide uncertainty. Do not execute containment without approval. Do not expose sensitive user or asset context outside approved systems. And always make the reasoning traceable. An incident response agent should make the responder faster, not less accountable. That is the core idea behind an AI incident response agent. It gathers context, summarizes evidence, recommends severity, and suggests next steps for human approval. In the next video, we can connect these agents into a larger security automation system where monitoring vulnerability, management, GRC, threat intelligence, and incident response all feed into one workflow. If you want more practical AI agents for cybersecurity and automation, subscribe.